Jagex recently added a tool to the Grand Exchange part of their website that tracks the amount of an item that is traded every single day, and best of all, it allows you to go back in time. Let's talk about it. So whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. The Grand Exchange website has always had a most traded section which allowed you to see the top 100 traded items based on volume. So Jagex was tracking these items before, but now you're able to view the volume for each specific item in the game by going to the item specific page. There is one exception to this, and that is the daily trade volume of bonds. Why exactly you're not able to see this and why they chose not to show you it, I'm not sure. I'm going to assume it's not related to their revenue or something, because you're able to find their financial information online. But let's just move on, because I have no idea. Now, this item-specific volume tool or information is far more useful than the older top items traded page for analyzing the economy or whatever you're merching. Now, the current maximum time period you can look back on the Grand Exchange is 6 months. However, if you use the RuneScape wiki charts, they allow you, depending on the item, to look back years. The reason I say depends on the item is because it really is vastly different depending on that item. Take, for example, augmenters. You can look back as far as December 2022. But when we take oak logs and we press on the all button, we're able to see data all the way back to November 2009. What's strange is that around April 2016, the data has dropped and we don't get much till around 2020, and then it drops back away again. I reckon it might have something to do with items being part of the top 100 market movers page, so that old page being tracked and others not so much. So I grabbed the Wayback Machine website, went to the earliest flashback or snapshot of the page, which was in 2020. I checked a couple of items as a sort of sample, and lo and behold, all the items I checked went back years and years, so maybe that theory is at least partially correct. I digress. Let's go back to the GE volume tracker, because that's probably going to be the most interesting information for most players out there, looking back around 6 months. The reason this tool is so useful, and not just for merchers, is because it allows you to create an understanding of when demand and supply of an item is high or low. Let's have a look at a very recent and relevant example, being necromancy supplies. On May the 30th, the day necromancy was revealed, overload ingredient sets see a major spike in trade volume accompanied by a steep rise in price. Subjugation armor or different types of bones, for example wyvern bones, have seen a similar trend. If you ever find yourself unable to buy an item for, let's say, 5 to 10% over GE price, a high trade volume and price increase could explain the reasoning. There might be an update or YouTube video causing an increase in panic buying, or if you have issues selling an item, perhaps even panic selling as well. Currently, it seems that players are selling a lot of high ticket items on the Grand Exchange, which is to be expected because no one likes selling them in World 2. But there is something strange going on with very low max cash items, as confirmed by Mod Sokoto in the official RuneScape Discord. Low volume items, take the white party hat as an example, are not presenting accurate numbers of trade, at least not yet. Extremely low volume items seem to be stacking in the volume bar chart until a sufficient amount have been traded to trigger a price update. What it takes to update an item's price is not publicly known information. Now, in case of the white party hat, the Grand Exchange price is the same because the volume of this item is apparently too low. Between June the 14th and 15th, we can see a grand total of 9 and then 10 party hats being traded. But if we take this example from the mods inside the official RuneScape Discord, it seems that the white party hat has only been traded once in this particular example. So the difference between these two charts is the likely more accurate answer for very low volume items. The reasoning behind this seems to be a couple of mods having made a coding mistake, which is only human as mistakes of course happen. I'm glad mods are willing to talk about this in a public Discord channel, which shows their ever-increasing communication. The takeaway here is that some extremely low volume items will have an inaccurate volume chart until it's fixed, which we're probably going to be seeing in the patch notes. I also managed to get an explanation as to why there's no trade volume data for the 13th of June across the board, which according to Mod Sokoto is because there was an error transferring information from the Grand Exchange system to the separate Grand Exchange website system. Something else I'd like to warn you about in this video is a lure people have been messaging me about related to the demonic skull. As it currently stands, the skull is still tradable and gives no warning other than a weak white message when examined in the trade interface. Players will attempt to trade you this item while attempting to buy your world or to give you some supplies, and then once you are asked to leave and you go outside in the wilderness, you will get 0 warnings and you will be automatically skulled, at which point it could already be too late, even though you're not really that deep in the wilderness. People told me that players used a lava whip to then drag them further into the wilderness and stun them for about a second. Jagex needs to make that skull untradeable, add a warning for PvP inside that crypt. No, actually just remove PvP. We keep chasing after the facts, and this is getting ridiculous.